This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the faucet.
We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter. Yeah, I want. Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it.
It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Dun dun dun. That's right. It's showtime. How the hell is everybody? I hope everybody is doing well on this fine Wednesday evening or afternoon, depends where you're watching from live. If you're not watching live, it doesn't matter. Anytime is a good time. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. A little bit challenging, as always, but hey, it's really great to be here. My name is Peter G. Welcome to Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show. Every Wednesday like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Definitely, God willing. God, need all the help I can get. So definitely God willing. We got a lot of eye-opening show tonight for you. We do. And I hope you stay tuned in to pay attention. Again, caught a little bit of hell from last week's show, but I can't say it enough. It's I'm not a hater. I'm just an enlightener. There's people that don't have a clue as to what's going on in this world, and they just see a minute-and-a-half clip and then judge right off the bat. And these are, it was an incident this week, and it was from a very, very close acquaintance, somebody I've known for a very long time. But you know, I know my closest friends don't watch my show. Most of them don't. Why? Because they've been watching me forever. It's basically me being me for you, and talking about a bunch of topics that I feel are really important. But I do that with all my friends. I mean, granted, it was a whole different time back in the past. But my point being is that, especially last week's show when we talked about, Islam really starting to move in and take over on things. And I'm sorry, it's a fact. I'm bringing other people's factual information to you. I'm not just pulling it out my ass. I told you. And I tell you all the time, what you choose to do with that information is totally up to you. I'm not telling you how to think. I'm not telling you what to think. But I am telling you that I am not a hater. I am not racist. It doesn't matter what color you are, green, orange, purple, brown, yellow, white, black. It doesn't matter. I just care if you're good or if you're bad. That's it. That's it. That's all that matters to me. It always has been like that with me. Doesn't matter. Because if you're an asshole, I don't need you. Just go and be an asshole someplace else. But if you're good, I love you. And in fact, even the assholes, it's like, God bless them. They can't help it. They can't help it. and my ever-growing motto or mantra, shut the fuck up. I swear, every place I turn, somebody in some statement on the internet is telling people or somebody to shut the fuck up because there's so much nonsense going on. So much of it that it's like, I don't feel bad at all. I'm doing a lot of people probably a favor. It's like, sometimes you don't hear yourself, and you need somebody that cares to wake you up, a little bit. Just get a grip on things. But anyway, we got a lot of show tonight. We'll be talking about, one more time, Bill Gates and his newly FDA approved lab grown meat. I don't like it. This sucks. But we're going to talk about it because I promise you that anybody who has anything to do with meat distribution, restaurants, stores, they're going to be sliding it in for the sake of profits. And a lot of this stuff looks pretty damn convincing. But I'm going to play a bunch of information for you, other people's, little sound bites and videos that tell you how to identify it, what to look for, and the ups and downs. So that's what we're doing tonight, as well as a little bit of World Economic Forum talk too, if I can fit it in, because it's all one big giant screwball. They're all a bunch of assholes that think that they know best what's for the world, and they should be the ones telling you what to think and what to do. And I'm not having it. And I'm hoping that a lot of you are this. I know a lot of you are in the same point. It's like, screw you. But there's a lot of people, and there really is. You look around you, there's a lot of people just clueless. They have no idea. So I'm not calling anybody stupid or even not even ignorant. They just aren't paying attention. They're, in their own groove, and they don't know. So, it's up to me. It's up to you. See, I'm passing it on, and that's what you need to do. You need to pay it forward and just drip on people a little bit we all need to be together on this to be able to overcome these obstacles they keep throwing at us. And that's what I'm here for. So it's going to be a great show tonight. It will. But while I'm at it, talking to you about shows, before I forget, because I'm really trying to stay on track, I always end up skipping something and then, going, oh, wait a minute, I got to go back. Because I got ahead of myself. But next week, Wednesday, July 22nd, I'm going Gulf Coast local. I mentioned a while back that, now that I am in the Gulf Coast, I'm going to talk about, some of the topics that go on around here, because I truly believe this is a very big little area. It's growing so much. It's grown so much. And things can get out of hand. Sometimes even businesses fail because they're so good that they fail at the success of their growth. They can't keep up with it. Let's see what we got here real quick. I've got our first comment of the night. They are clueless about shit going down. That's right, Russell. God bless you. But it's up to you to nicely help out. And, look, we all were there at one point. I was 10 years ago. Maybe it's getting on 12 now because time is just going so damn quick. But, I didn't know. I didn't pay attention to this stuff. And quite frankly, I don't blame people for not wanting to have their heads in all this crap. But things have changed so much that it's getting really evil. And we need to pay attention. Just like Russell is. But anyway, let me get back to Wednesday. Wednesday, July 22nd, I'm going full-on Gulf Coast local. I'm going to be talking to a gentleman named Glenn Dorsey. Glenn Dorsey is running for county commissioner for District 2 in Pensacola, the Escambia County area. Basically, the west side. And for those of you who are local and understand, a lot of people make fun of the West Side, and I say shame on you. Mr. and Mrs. East Hill or whatever. I never understood, because there's just as much crap that goes on this portion that goes on that portion. Now, granted, the reason being the West Side is a little older. It started a lot earlier in the growth of Pensacola because it's located near Pensacola NAS, the Naval Air Station, home of the Blue Angels, which we'll get to that too tonight real quick. I'll touch on that. And if you know, you know. We'll get there. But Glenn's going to be on because Glenn is running for county commissioner for District 2. He's a businessman in this area, and he truly believes that it's time for some new blood. And I'm telling you, for what little time I've been looking into this, and I've been hearing things through the years, I'm going to tend to agree with him. And I'm going to have him on the show, and I'm going to be, grilling him on, not grilling him, but asking him, it's like, what makes him going to be the right candidate to turn things around, and what's wrong with what's going on. And it's going to be I think it's going to be really good because, again, I hear things, this is my job. I listen and I check out a whole lot of people. That's what I spend most of my time doing personally. And there's a lot of things that need changing in lots of different areas. And this happens to be one of them. So I'm going to find out what's going on with him and why he believes that he's the one who needs to be in the chair, because he's got a job. He owns a business. He doesn't need to be county commissioner, but he's sick of it too. And we're going to find out what he's sick of. So join me Wednesday, July 22nd, when I have Mr. Glenn Dorsey, who's running for county commissioner for District 2 of Escambia County, right here on Life of Peter G, The Peter G Show. We're going Gulf Coast local, Wednesday, July 22nd. You're going to want to be here because there's a lot of things going on with the county's boards and the growth, and those people behind the desk, they sit and listen and go, yeah. And a lot of smart people going and stating their case. And then once it's all over, they go, yeah, who cares? And they sign off and do what they want to do. And that's not right. So we're going to talk to Glenn right here because he's really going for it because he believes. And I believe in people who really, have it in their soul that they want to make a change. I want to hear him out. Okay. Join me next week, Wednesday, July 22nd, right here. What do we got? Let's see. I gotta look. Oh, that's right. While we're talking about, that's why. Thank God I have bullet points tonight and bullets. Gulf Coast. Since I'm on the Gulf Coast this weekend, for those who know, where are we? Let's go find it. If you know, this weekend is Blue Angels show on Pensacola Beach, right here. My faves. These guys do a yearly show on the beach so that you can't see them take off and land, and all their procedures, prior to liftoff and landing. But the beach is going to be packed to the max, as always. It'll be a madhouse, but it's so awesome. It's such a great, I don't care how many times you see these guys. It's still, it never gets old. And that's what's going on the beach. So for those of you who dare to get on that beach and participate, God bless you. I mean that because I got too much stuff going on right now this weekend. I can't do it. But it's a great show, and I wanted to tell you about it. But also, I wanted to show you they were doing this morning. It was this morning. I got a clip from today. They were doing their practices as they do. If they're out of town, they'll practice out of town. But when they're in Pensacola, believe me, they wake me up at like 10:30 a couple of times a week. But it's a sound that I'll gladly listen to of those roaring engines. And they were practicing at the beach, and I got a little clip for you of not the maneuvers when they're all flying together and they're real close together and this and that. It's just a little clip of a low pass, and it's this little maneuver they do. It's like with two of the lead solo jet pilots of the Blue Angels. One will come across the beach, and he's just doing his thing, and everybody's watching. Ooh, because let's face it, jets are cool. There's no doubt about it. They're just awesome machines, and they're watching this jet come low to the water and do its thing. But while you're watching that, there's another one coming up from behind them, and he's coming up really fast and really low. And a lot of times if you're not ready for it, it can scare the hell out of you. I've heard babies and small kids start crying because it's loud. It just, they're past you before the sound hits you, and then the after effects. Well, this is a real quick little clip of the after effect of that same, hey, pay attention to what's going on in front of you while the other one sneaks up from the side and just blows you out of the water. But check this out. This is kind of... Yeah. Did you, after that one jet came right over them, did you notice that 2 seconds later, all the umbrellas, the towels, everything just went flying everywhere because that's how much force, how fast the wind that plane was sucking by. And and that happens a lot. But I mean, it's umbrellas go up in the air. It's a little bit dangerous because those umbrellas with the poles and stuff like that. But it sure is awesome when you're there experiencing that sneak up because they're gone before you even know they came by. Just thought I'd share that with you. It's a little bit something. I mean, they truly are amazing performers, showing the ability of these jets and the ability of the pilots. I don't have a bucket list. Because I feel I've had the opportunity to go places and do a lot of things that maybe most people haven't. And there's still a million things that I haven't done, but I'm content. But if I did have a bucket list, the only thing I ever really wanted, and this has been going on for 30, 40 years, I just want to ride in that 2-seater Blue Angel jet. That's all I really want. And I'm good. Like if I stay home the rest of my life, I don't care. Because that's, to me, the ultimate roller coaster. And, they take a lot of people up on those jets. I'm going, God, these people are lucky. Because that's an expensive ordeal. Every time they take a jet up, it's not just the fuel. It's maintenance. It's just like costs thousands and thousands of dollars. And they do it for promotional. They do it all over the country, all over the world. They'll take up somebody who works for the, promote news, journalists and things like that. And, all right, you just getting in? Or you've been there and just finally getting the nerve to say hello. Hello. In the house. But if I did have a bucket list, the only thing I'd really, really want would be to just go up in one of those in Blue Angel. I think it's Blue Angel number 7, and get a ride, hitch a ride, and then I'd be good. But I know people who've got bucket lists. I got to go here. I got to go there. It's like, whatever makes you happy. That's all that really matters. But I'm pretty happy every day for the most part. Even when I'm ripping my hair out, I'm grateful. So that's that. All right, listen, real quick. This is what I want to do because again, there's so much stuff going on. But why don't we take a quick breather, because I want to hear our astrological forecast for the week from Moon Mistress Tarot, so that way we can get started on the right foot and find out what's going on for the week and all that stuff. But she's the one she's my go-to. So here we go. I'll be right back.
All right, loves, get ready for the super new moon happening this week. It is in the sign of Cancer, and super new moons mean manifesting is going to be very powerful. So set those new intentions. Let's see what's going on with your zodiac sign. We're going to start off with 2 of Cups, and that is for my water signs. It's all about the love, babies. So 2 of Cups means if you're open and you want to embrace it, go for it, my darlings. So that is my Pisces, my Scorpios, and my Cancers. For my air signs, how about some fortune? This is destiny. This is a powerful card. It's good fortune. So that is all my Aquarius, my Geminis, and my Libras. I'm bringing it up. Ooh, look at what my earth signs are bringing in. Money, honey, just what you love. 3 of Pentacles means you're working it together, possibly with other people, but money is the goal. I love that. Finishing off fire signs, well, there's the love for you for sure, my darlings. This is going to be a passionate love with this new moon. So if it's just starting, welcome in, my darlings. And that, my loves, is all about the magic that's happening with this moon. To find out what's going on with your zodiac sign during this supercharged moon, moonmistresstarot.com. And as always, back to you, Peter.
That's right. To find out more about your astrological journey and your cosmic connection, go check out moonmistresstarot.com and let her do a reading for you because, everybody needs a little bit of direction. And I truly believe that. And some people just have that ability to give you that, point you the right direction. And I believe I got so much stuff to do tonight. Oh boy. All right. Can I this is just one more little off topic and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes. Can I talk real quick about the Save America Act? You know, voter ID, a simple little task to make it more legitimized for our voting because there's been so much discrepancy going on and things. I mean, does it not make sense? You got to have an ID to get on a plane. You got to have an ID to buy beer. You have to have an ID to drive. And for so many more things. If you go to pick up a special delivery package at the post office, you have to show ID. I mean, how friggin' hard is this? So unreasonable to not have an ID to go do one of the most patriotic, constitutionalized things that America has the privilege of you being able to do. And there's so much of a stink out of it's racist. I mean, just every friggin' excuse you can think of. And here's just a quick little video. I'm just curious because it can't just be me. I mean, I'm really curious as to somebody who thinks that I'm being ridiculous about this and anybody should just be able to walk off the street or from anywhere and just go vote. I mean, if you could do it once, you can go do it twice. I mean, who's keeping tabs? I don't understand it. Because you don't have to show ID. So how do they know who's voting and how many times they're voting? Which is my point. It's like, this isn't too much to ask for. It really isn't. It's the way it should be. I think it's the way it was. But anyway, here's a real quick little video and then we'll just talk a little bit more and then I'll move on. I promise. Here we go.
You want to know why the Democrats are fighting so hard not to pass the Save America Act, not to have integrity in our elections? Well, Senator Slotkin came right out and said the quiet part out loud. Take a listen to her.
The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act, right? Which was literally that it would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win any election.
Let's listen to that one more time, a little bit slower.
It would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win any election.
So there you have it, folks, right out of their own mouths. They cannot win an election with election integrity and voter ID. And they know it. So they have to do everything within their power to block the Save America Act. And of course, there's a few Republicans in Congress that are different cheeks of the same ass, and they're giving them a little help. Lying, cheating sons of bitches.
Whoopsie. Butterfingers. Look, it again, she goes right for the Democrats. And I'm telling you, I can give a shit Democrat, Republican, this and that. I really don't care because I disagree with lots of little things, more things on one side than the other. But I still disagree with a lot of things on both sides. But if you can't win because of voter ID, what does that tell you? What is that saying? It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, the blatant reason is because they don't want a bunch of people who've just come over into this country, and just they're not American citizens voting just because they don't know any better. Believe me, when they were all coming over the border, they were giving out free Joe Biden T-shirts. So that's all these non-American, non-English speaking people knew was, thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Joe Biden. That's all they knew. And that's what they wanted them to know. They go, you're going to vote for Joe Biden. He got you in here. That's all they knew. And I don't blame them. So I would do the same thing. But it's not right. It's not right. So having voter ID to show you're an American citizen, that's just fair as fair. Now, I had somebody tell me last week that, I got a lot of people because I've been talking about the mayor of New York, Mondami. People who disagree with me, they go, well, people voted him in. And you're correct. People did vote him in, and now New York is going to get what they're going to get, unfortunately. But you got to understand that only 17% of New York City voted, period. So shame on the New Yorkers because they did it to themselves, because the only people that went and voted were the people that Mondami was preaching to, all the young people, promising them a bunch of free stuff if they voted for him. So they got all excited. It's like, who doesn't want free stuff? And they voted for him. So only 17% of New York City voted. Therefore, the majority of them were all these younger people that he's, I don't want to say brainwashing, but convincing that he's going to be good, and socialism and democratic socialism / communism is going to be good. We're going to lower your rent. We're going to take away properties from people who, own it that don't deserve it. I mean, everything, the most stupidest stuff. These younger people are going, sure, why not? Why would they care? It's not their stuff. Give it to us. He's going to take it away and give it to us. Free buses and this and that. The buses have gone up since he's been mayor. They haven't gone down, let alone free. So that's my point. It's like the voting thing. You got to get out there and vote, and you need to be legal to vote. And so if the Democrats are so hell-bent that voter ID is going to stop them from winning, then they got a problem and they need to reevaluate everything. That's the way I would see it. If nobody voted for you, like if nobody's watching my show, I'd have to say, well, something's wrong. I'm either not getting the word out to the people, or I'm not talking about things that people want to hear or pay attention to, or I'm just no good, period. You decide. But here we are, and we are getting out to the people. And we do talk about a lot of different things that people need to hear and do hear. Yeah, I don't suck. I do have better days, but for the most part, I'm pretty reliable. I know I'm going to be right here, and I know I'm going to do something that's going to be of worth when I walk away that night. There has been a couple of catastrophes, and there's times when, I like tonight, it was a little bit of a quick change, but I was preparing for it ahead of time because my spiny senses were saying you better keep yourself backed up, and here we are. And I got tons of great stuff that you're going to need to know in just a few minutes. So I just wanted to bring that up because this doesn't make any sense. And anybody who wants to talk to me and tell me why I'm out of my mind when it comes to believing that having valid voter ID, like a valid ID, is asking too much to be able to vote, I'm really curious what you got to say. So you could either comment on the official Peter G Show Facebook page. I can see the comments live, or the official YouTube Peter G Show page. You can comment and I can see it live right now, and or the LinkedIn official Peter G Show page. Now, I got to tell you, talk about censorship. YouTube has just got their thumbs, they got their foot on my neck right now because I talked about Islam last week. I just put up the ads for this show, for Bill Gates and the FDA and all that. They immediately just don't let me be seen. We're talking 5 views. I saw somebody else complaining that YouTube started censoring them, and they're pretty big. And I just told them, I said, take a friggin' number. They've been on my ass since 2021 when I talked about COVID. And I'm not going to stop because I was right. But I thought they were going to lighten up on their censorship, and they really haven't. They really haven't. TikTok, forget it. I have a TikTok account, but I post once a week about what the show is going to be. I do nothing with TikTok. I probably have 3 followers now because they wiped out my thousands of followers. They wiped out thousands of videos. Censorship. And I'm not digging it. But Facebook is being very, very cool, and I'm so grateful. And to my Facebook people, let's keep it going. Keep following. Hit that like button. Follow, whatever it is. Because we're doing 1.5 million to 2 million views a month, which is a big deal for just Facebook, little old Facebook right now, and growing. So thank you. But there's no, they've been very. I would have thought Facebook would have been one of the ones to just clamor on down, but they've been good. And I don't do anything that wild, but I just speak the truth. We just put things out here for you to take into consideration. Out of try to decipher all the noise, get all the noise out of the way. Let's go to the root. Anyway, it's all good. Speaking of getting things out of the way, I want to hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver, and then we're going to get to the Bill Gates FDA-approved lab-grown meat crap and talk about that. But don't go anywhere. I'll be right back and get ready. All right, here we go. Be right back.
Hello, it's Tyrone Thompson here with Clean Star Products, and we're here with William.
High-end car service.
And we've just serviced his Cadillac Escalade 2024, and we're going to be giving it a go to see what kind of results he'll be getting in his fuel mileage and any performance differences, and be checking with him later.
All right.
Thank you, William, for participating in our environmental program. We're here with High-End Car Services, my friend William, who's been using DX1 for a small time now. What kind of results have you been getting?
Up to 45.1 miles per gallon best results, and the engine has been quieter, and I can definitely feel the power in the engine. I have a diesel.
Thank you so much. We're going to keep going with the program and check in with you later. We appreciate you.
The Long Life Engine program with DX1 Driver is the only safe environmental product for your high mileage engine. DX1 is a non-toxic, clean-burning oil that goes into your fuel and your engine oil, providing lubricity for gasoline and diesel engines. You save on average 10% gasoline and 15% diesel fuel consumption. Call now for a price quote and place your order today. It's the Long Life Engine program from Clean Star Products and Tyrone Thompson.
That's right. Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX1 driver. Got two words for you. It works. It does. I use it myself. Made a believer out of me. I wasn't going to talk about anything else. I was for sure that it's a product that does something, because let's face it, folks, there's tons of, you go to the store, there's tons of things on the shelves. You don't know what's doing what and if it really works and if it's worthy of spending your hard-earned money. But I can assure you that after using it, it made a believer out of me. But again, it's like, don't believe me. It's just go to they got a website. It's like www.cleanstarproducts.com. It's full of information. They tell you a bunch of things, but really what I want to tell you to do is there's a phone number on their website and at the bottom of the screen right there, 310-200-8931. Mention you saw it on the Peter G Show when you call them. Call them. But that's the thing. I want you to call them because they're very, very caring and old school. Ty wants to talk to you. He wants to answer your questions personally. And I just got through saying that last week on this show about how I've been having issues with the streaming system that we use here. And I can't call them and I can't talk to them. And it's only by email. And it takes, they could either answer me in a couple of hours or a couple of days. It really sucks. I love being able to relay my message on the phone and have instantaneous communication and get my questions answered. So call them. I mean, I know we've all gotten into texting and all this kind of stuff, but do yourself a favor and hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And call them at 310-200-8931. Mention you saw it on the Peter G Show. And the reason is because if you decide you want to purchase DX1 driver, you mention you saw it on the Peter G Show, they will send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. I'm telling you, 5 bottles for the price of 4 is a great starter kit, because you take one of these little bitty bottles right here, okay? This services your average 4-door sedan. You pour one into a clean oil change. Right when you're ready for a new oil change, have this poured into it on top of that. Last the whole oil change. And that's it. You just leave it alone. Then make sure your gas tank is, running pretty low. Pour one of these little bottles into your fuel tank. Fill up your tank with gas and drive. It's that simple. It can't be any easier. Okay? Then when you run out of fuel, you're running low on fuel again, take another little bottle. I would do this consecutively with this starter kit I'm talking about. You have 1 for the oil change and 4 full tanks of gas. I would put and run them consecutively, all 4 tanks. I noticed the difference on the 3rd tank of gas. And I drive a big V8, and believe me, I knew that something was going on. So do it. All right. You'll be glad you did. It keeps everything working like it should. The tolerances in engines the friction is tighter now, and things wear out a lot quicker. This helps with better lubricity, smoother running, less friction, better gas mileage, cleaner, injectors, all of the above. And that means a lot, because when you have to go get your car repaired, they don't repair, they just replace, and brace yourself for a $1,000 to $2,000 bill on average, providing nothing serious is wrong. And who wants to spend that kind of money? This is a cheap insurance, to help you just maintain your car. Good food, good body. So call that number, talk to them, mention you saw it on the Peter G Show, and they will send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. It'll make a believer out of you too, especially the older high mileage cars. I promise you, you're going to really, feel the difference. But it's good for every car because, again, the best analogy I can tell you is good food, good body. You eat like shit, you're going to feel like shit. Same thing for your car. Put crappy gas in your car, and you don't know what's in the gas nowadays. Nobody wants to spend for top tier gas, Shell, Chevron, that kind of thing. They go to, the Quickie Mart or whatever, and that's just whatever it is what it is. This stuff will make sure that your car is going to be doing a whole lot better. All right, cool. So now, are you ready, folks? Oh, real quick, let's take a little sippy poo. Well deserved. It's going to be a good, a very informative, lab grown kind of meat night. So pay attention. All right. Thank you to all of you. Share. The sharing has been great. I see that you guys are sharing the short clips like crazy. God bless you, but I need you to keep hitting that follow button. I know there's a lot of people that watch the show, and just a little bit, all I'm asking is just go to the page and just hit the follow button or like whatever it is on Facebook, subscribe button on YouTube. It's all free. Just do me that favor. That's all I ask you for, because I appreciate you, watching. But here you go. Salute. Oh. Ooh la la. Smooth. Oh man, that's what I say. What do you say, Butthead?
Smooth.
That's what I thought. See, we're in agreement. Okay, the segment most been waiting for. I get a lot of these people. Well, I haven't had that in a while actually, but some people are going, all right, get to the point. It's like the point is. This is the point. It's all part of the show, folks. It's all about you get something out of every segment, and that's the way it works. And I thank the ones who understand. Some people just don't. They're newbies and they have to get used to things on how it works, because there's a lot of little. I don't want to say little people. There's a lot of what do they call those? There's a lot of people out there making videos, and so they just make their, a 3-4 minute piece, and that's it. They're in and they're out. That's great. They don't do an entertainment show. I do. Hence, Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. So it works a little bit differently, and we've all been there. I know you had to. Watched many television shows in the past that I'm going, I don't know, and then all of a sudden I'll watch it again a little bit. And it's like, nah. And then you go back and you watch it again. And you go, it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. So that's the way it works. We're really not that bad. But tonight I decided, I didn't decide. I had to grab, I had it in the background waiting because we were actually supposed to have a guest on tonight, and I got double duped. But these things happen in the topsy-turvy world of rock and roll, and I'm a professional and I'll rise above it. But I did have to scramble. And it was 7 o'clock this morning, and I was still up, backing myself up because I knew it, that we might have to go this direction. And this is a direction I will gladly talk about because this is important stuff. These people are friggin' evil. Bunch of dweebs with money who feel like they're the ones that need to rule the world, run the world. I mean, just weird people, weird little friggin' creatures. Bill Gates is one of them. Now, when we get down later in the show, you'll meet another one too. He's just creepy. But, he's been working on this. He had big stakes in the Impossible meat. Everybody thought that is going to come out with this new non-meat vegetarian style burger that's going to be healthy for you. At least that's how they pushed it. It's going to be nutritious and healthy for you and taste kind of like a hamburger. They lie. I am, in life in general, I am so skeptical about everything nowadays because of the narratives that nobody's responsible for their own words anymore. Nobody's accountable. I'm watching a lot of advertising on the internet, when you're just looking at things that is so too good to be true. And I know they're just stealing money left and right, because once you buy something, if it doesn't work, they say, oh, we're going to give you your money back or this and that. It's like, good luck trying to jump those hurdles to do it. And they win because they're just lying out their ass. Well, he came out, he had a big high stakes in the Impossible meat burger, which was, the earliest form of where we're going to now. And now this lab-grown chicken and beef, this synthesized meat that is just, they're going to keep pushing it now to tell you how, how many advantages and the advantages of eating this stuff and making it. But at the end of the day, folks, we're not that stupid. Even if we gave it a try, you don't know in the long run what it, I got videos. We'll talk about it. But you know what I'm talking about, and that's why we're doing this tonight. So I said I am going to talk about it because this whole week, for some reason, all I kept seeing was this now that it's FDA approved. Bill Gates's lab-grown meat is FDA approved. I'm going, even the friggin' FDA, I trust them as far as I can throw them. The World Health Organization, the FDA, all these three-letter, acronyms, these people in these organizations, they're crooked as hell. Just come to the point where if they tell you it's good, just know it's bad. Okay? If they tell you to trust them, don't trust them. Just do the opposite of whatever they tell you to do that you hear, and you'll be fine. But you're going to have to, live and learn. Don't be a slow learner. So here's it's explaining Bill Gates and this food takeover thing. So here's the first video to kick this thing off. And where are you? Oh yeah, here you go. Here we go. Ready? Set? Bingo.
Bill Gates and the billionaire food takeover. Fast food and grocery meat have been quietly redesigned, and one billionaire is heavily behind that change. You'll want to know this. Bill Gates isn't just tech. He's invested in shaping what we eat. He's backed companies like Memphis Meats, now Upside Foods, Impossible Foods, Beyond Meat, and Nature's Find, all part of a booming trend toward lab-grown, plant-based, or fungus-based meat alternatives. These companies promise sustainable meat, better for the planet, less resource-intensive. But here's what's rarely discussed. This shift funnels massive profits to a few very wealthy investors, while changing the food system in ways that may hurt regular people and traditional farmers. Large agribusiness players, meat processors, and global food tech firms are increasingly aligned with these synthetic and alternative protein ventures. As demand for lab-grown or plant-based proteins grows, those big entities gain both new market dominance and control over supply chains, prices, and what counts as food. Farmers lose because these models don't rely on livestock or traditional farming. They rely on cell cultures, fermentation vats, fungi, and chemicals. The more these alternative proteins scale, the less value placed on farmland, animals, and traditional agriculture livelihoods. The result? Your food becomes cheaper to produce, but more industrial, more processed, and more commoditized. You get meat-like products designed for maximum profit and shelf stability, not for nutrition, transparency, or respect for farming roots. If they succeed, meat consumption could shift entirely. Not because you chose plant-based or clean meat, but because everything real becomes too expensive or phased out.
That's a fact. I was talking to you earlier about when it started many, many years ago with the plant-based Impossible meat burger, from Burger King, I think sells it, and I think they still do. But that's the thing. You think you're eating better. It's actually more processed This is the problem. I heard a lot of people complaining when I did a couple of clips, was it last week, on a couple of people that came from other countries. I think they came from England to go see World Cup soccer here in the United States, and he was bragging on how, the beautiful scenery, how great it is here in America, things they don't have and can't do in England, and the food. And then I had a lot of people complaining about the food here in America is going to kill you. It's like, well, there's lots of things that can kill you. We're trying to get a grip on it. They're right, but it could be a lot worse. But the key here is the processed foods. They've been pushing more and more processed foods. And that's what sucks. And here they go again, trying to tell you that it's better for the environment. I mean, I got all these videos. We'll be talking about this, but you get the gist of it. That's what I'm telling you. Pay attention, because there's some eye-opening crap. Now, the problem here is, I'm looking myself when I'm going to the grocery store. This meat is going to be hard to distinguish between the real thing. And they're not going to flat out label it lab-grown meat. So you're going to have to keep an eye on things, and you're going to have to be a little bit keener before you just grab chicken breasts, assuming they're real chicken breasts. But here's somebody telling you a little bit of how to tell the difference between lab-grown and organic. So, here you go.
It's how to know if you're eating fake, lab-grown meat or real meat. Walmart, Costco, and Kroger are not going to label it lab-grown or synthetic, sweetheart. That would scare you away. Instead, they use softer words that sound almost natural. The words you need to watch for are cell-cultured and cultivated meat. If you see those phrases on the label, that meat was grown in a laboratory from animal cells. It was never part of a living, breathing animal. Next time you're shopping, read the fine print. If it says cell-cultured, cultivated, or cell-based, put it back. Share this with your family so they know what to look for.
And that's the problem. Not everybody's going to be paying attention, especially if you don't hear about it like that. And I'm counting on most people never hearing about it like that. And you just go to the store, and believe me, it's going to be more than just the stores he named. It's going to be just about every store, except a, hometown butcher or something like that. The restaurants are going to get in on it, because if they're able to buy something that is less money, that's just about as good, so they claim, are unrecognizable, like you're not going to say, oh, this isn't right. You're going to assume it's exactly what you're paying for. They're going to go with the substitute, because it means more profits. It's hard enough in the restaurant business to make a profit as it is. Everything's going up so much. So it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary when you're eating at restaurants. You don't know what you're going to be eating, except for a few places. But you need, again, knowledge is the key. That's all I can tell you, for the sake of your children and yourself, your family, your friends, the world. We can, if nobody wants it, they can just take it and keep it. Good luck to them. But if we just don't pay any attention and just start consuming it, and they'll keep making more. Believe me, they're not going to say a word. They're going to do everything they can to try to encourage you to think that it's good. But there's a woman. She says, we didn't ask for this, and which we didn't ask for a lot of things, but this is what's going on. So be right back.
Who is we? You got a mouse in your pocket, Bill? Because we don't want to do that. We don't want to switch to artificial meats, okay? Some of us still like cows and steak. Some of us enjoy that, like we have for however long humans have been in existence. We are not interested in switching to artificial meat. Also, we're not really interested in your ticks giving people alpha-gal syndrome and making them allergic to meat without their consent. Like, the audacity of this man. I have never seen a greater God complex than this guy. Like, I'm just trying to figure out who put him in charge of humanity. Between his push for, like, I'm gonna tell humans they can't eat this, also like his vaccine things that he does. If you ever go down a rabbit hole even just a little bit on this man and his vaccination programs, you will be surprised. Or maybe you won't, I don't know. He like walks around the world like he's this huge humanitarian, and really that's he wants to own the world, everybody in it, their health, their bodies, everything. I cannot stand any of his stuff. I can't. No, thank you. If he's selling it, I am not buying it.
She makes a valid point. I think a lot of people are. The one thing that I got to say, both the left and right, which seems to be the opposing teams nowadays, the one thing I can honestly say that we can all come together on is the fact that most people do not like Bill Gates. I've been so glad to see people coming together on at least that subject, that he is evil. And nothing he does is for our benefits. It's for him. He creates a problem, and then he just happens to have a solution to sell you. Same thing we did with Microsoft. Virus protection. They were creating their own viruses for the computers and going, well, you need this Microsoft virus protection. And that's what he did. And then you need to subscribe to it because, other viruses. Sound familiar? COVID. Yeah. Same thing, same principle. Same thing. Maybe it even derived from, his earlier doings. But it's like, hey, you need to protect yourself. That's pretty scary stuff. That's what he does. It's a little friggin' dweeb. Yeah. The food monopoly, the manipulation. They're trying to box out the farmers, and they're going to put them all out of business because if nobody's buying it because it's too much money, or they're selling all this cheaper stuff and people don't know any better and they're eating it, it's like, what are the farmers going to do? I mean, they won't have a choice. But again, here, check this one out. This is more stuff that you need to know. Here you go.
So the idea is we get rid of farmers, we kill any naturally grown food, and we engineer food in manufacturing plants and laboratories. But I assure you that those guys are not eating this.
Bill Gates is one of the familiar corporate faces, and he's investing heavily in the food revolution under the guise of avoiding climate disaster.
Cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. So we need to change cows.
And while he talks up the perceived problem, Gates is pouring money into the supposed solution: artificial meat and genetically modified crops. Crucially, anything that is invented or altered can be patented.
The core of his agenda is he wants to do in agriculture and pharmaceuticals, by the way, what he did in the computer world. True power, massive, incalculable wealth comes from owning intellectual property and then monopolizing it. They want to make it so that every single organism that is used for food is ultimately under their control, either through the 3D printing or through this genetic manipulation. So we're moving now very rapidly toward this totally centralized food system where a tiny handful of corporate interests in bed with totalitarian government will dominate the food supply, so that there is only a giant public-private partnership with total control of all food, all energy, and I believe water will be next.
While the global machinations continue, thousands of farmers fear for their livelihoods. And the new UK government's first budget has multiplied those fears. By reducing relief on inheritance tax, they're penalising those who would want to pass their farms to sons or daughters. The National Farmers Union described it as
a disastrous budget.
See? First, he's complaining about cows, about the emissions. What he means is he's always been bitching about cows giving off too much methane gas. And nobody, I don't understand. I mean, I know a lot of people know, but cows don't fart. They don't fart. So they don't give off gas because they have 3 stomachs that process their food intake. And once in a while, they'll get a problem. Because I learned about this when I was about 16, because I met this guy from Texas. He was a good old boy, and he came off of a farm. And literally, a cow will get bloated like gas, which is unusual, but it will happen once in a while. And they have no way to expel it because they don't fart. And they don't have this, but every once in a while they will. And it will literally almost kill a cow, and they'll go down because they're all bloated. I remember him telling me, he says, you got to take a knife and just stab their stomach, poke a hole in their stomach to let that air out. So that's the only time that they might be expelling some methane. But in general, cows don't fart. So I don't know how he's, I know he's got to know that. He can't be that stupid. He's evil. But, but yet he keeps on pushing that narrative. And then you see they want you eating crickets and all this kind of stuff, but they really want to be able to patent things and just have a grip on the whole. And he says, the totalitarian government, basically they're talking about the World Economic Forum and all those assholes. They're all, it's that one group of people that are just to take over the world. He's part of it. He's part of the problem. So we just hipping you up to that. That's all. And again, why? Because this stuff is coming to a store near you, and I need you guys to be aware of it. But again, don't believe me. It's I'll have someone else tell you, and that's coming right to your stores. So you need to know what to look for.
Lab-grown meat will soon be on the shelves of this grocery store and almost every other grocery store in the United States. 2 companies have now been approved by the FDA to make lab-grown meat and sell it to you and your family, and production has already begun. This is a travesty waiting to happen. Lab-grown meat is not real meat. It's made in cell culture in a lab. It's almost certainly going to cause health issues for humans, autoimmune issues, damage to the gut. All sorts of problems can arise from meat grown in a petri dish. It's going to have an inferior nutrient profile to meat from a cow that has grown eating grass in nature, and it's worse for the environment. Multiple studies have now shown that lab-grown meat is significantly harsher and more damaging to the environment in terms of total carbon footprint and energy costs. So why in the world would you eat lab-grown meat when you could just eat real, nutrient-rich meat like your ancestors have been doing for hundreds of thousands of years? I don't know, but it's coming, and you better believe they're going to try and convince you that it's better for you and better for the planet, and that is bullshit.
And that is why it's bullshit. That's what he meant to say. Sorry, I hit the button too quick. He meant to say, and that's why it's bullshit. Because it's bullshit. They're going to try and convince you. They're going to. That's what they do. This is going to be great. I can see, space travel. You need to have some kind of synthesized food, and maybe they'll get better at it as the centuries go by. Maybe it'll get to be like, we used to see on Star Trek, the old Star Trek. They would order whatever they wanted, and it would just create the food right in the little window there. And I'm not saying that stuff won't happen one day. It probably will. I mean, look at it. We talk to our watches. Dick Tracy, he used to, talk to his watch. He had a video monitor. All this stuff has come true. Not saying it's not going to happen, but right now, it ain't happening. I mean, they're making it happen, but it ain't happening. And they're going to convince you because they want you to eat this stuff because they're spending a ton of money to invest into it. And if nobody buys it, they're screwed. Well, again, restaurants, all this, they're going to convince restaurants to check it out and give it a try. And it's either going to kill their business or it's going to make their business because people won't know the difference if you season it up enough and grill it enough and stick it under a bun. They're crossing their fingers. It's like they'll just chow it down and won't know the difference. Stay awake, people. Be alert. Educate yourself. That's why we're doing this. Now, the bright side is, as many of you know, I left California not too long ago after 34 years because I got sick of all the bullshit that's going on in California. And I loved California. I loved the weather. I miss the weather. But Florida, the great state of Florida, and their governor, Ron DeSantis, he's drawing the line on this crap, along with, I think, 6 other states. They're banning it. But I got to tell you that just because they're banning, props to them. Okay? That's somebody's looking out for their people. But just because they're banning it doesn't mean that people won't be sliding it in, even though they're threatening fines and penalties and all this kind of stuff. But here, let Ron tell you himself. It's like, God bless him for saying, you know what, this is, you got to be out of your minds. It's not the time for it yet. And here you go. It's real quick.
We stand with agriculture. We stand with the cattle ranchers. We stand with our farmers because we understand it's important for the backbone of the state. It's important for our culture. It's important for our heritage. So the bill that I'm going to sign today is going to say, basically, take your fake lab-grown meat elsewhere. We're not doing that in the state of Florida.
Bravo. Bravo. I mean, you know, they could have gotten to him too. And, you know, you have all these big corporations. They put the pressure on. They said this will be good for the state. You're going to make all this money from, you know, the sale of this stuff. I mean, it all is about money. It really is. It's so sad. It's all about money. And Ron DeSantis said, take this meat and shove it. And I think Alabama and 4 other states have jumped on. They're all banning it. And saying, you know what, you're not. And if you do, we're going to fine you if we catch you. And that's a big if. Because, you know, how are you going to pay attention to every single restaurant and every single grocery store? And it's going to be, you know, there's not enough manpower to do that just for one topic, you know, one issue. Bad enough the health departments and things like that can't keep up with their own stuff, let alone that on top, you know, throw some more crap on the fire. But that's where that's all going. That's where all that's going. And it all revolves mainly from one man who loves to invest in things like this to help the population. So he says, and that is Bill Gates. And he sucks. It's just that plain and simple. He sucks. That's right. I see somebody giving the angry emoji. It's like he does. He sucks. It's no doubt. Now I'm going to talk to you. Here's Bill Gates. I'm going to start shifting a little bit more because Bill Gates is the nucleus for depopulation and his vaccines and his crappy food he's trying to shove down your throat. His you know, his the fake butter he's trying to make. The chemicals he's putting on the GMOs into his corn that he grows. The appeal coatings, the wax coatings that are sealing in pesticides and all that on apples and fruits and all this crap, that wax coating that's no good for you. I mean, he's got his hands in everything that is not good for you and tries to tell you how good it is for you. And that's what makes him suck so bad. But I'm going to start shifting because, again, deep down, if you've listened to him long enough for enough years, it all boils down to population. So he figures if everybody's happy eating this stuff and they just don't live as long eating this stuff, no big deal. You know, we need to slow the population down anyway. And he firmly believes all that. He's playing God with your lives, your families. Look what happened during COVID. I promise you that most of the people that passed didn't die just from the flu. They died from the care of the virus. Anyway, and then I start talking about that, they'll start banning me again. I'm sick of it. But it's the truth, and we'll get there. It's going to come a time. It's coming out little by little. But here's Bill Gates, and he's what's he doing? He's Bill Gates on his depopulation and, you know, his beliefs and all this, and he tries to make it sound like it's such a, you know, he's doing a friendly thing. But here you go.
Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down. In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? What we found out is that as health improves, families choose to have less children. And this effect is very, very dramatic. We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. So we've taken that chart that shows the global population growth And we've actually extended it out all the way to 2100. And we can see that instead of continuing, it actually flattens out. Another way to see that is through this rate of population growth. And you can see that in the 60s, that reached a pretty high number, over 2% per year, and it's now come way, way down. Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down, and so we can feel great about saving those lives.
This asshole is trying to make you think that when they improve health, that it's going to help the population of the world go down. How in the hell? Now I understand. It's like he says, you know, if everybody lived forever, it's like, how are we going to feed and take care of everybody? I get it. But, you know, does he have to be the one to figure this out? Because his way of figuring out is just by offing everybody. That's the easiest solution. You don't have to be a friggin' rocket scientist for that, to tell you that. But he continually tries to say that with improved health care and better vaccines, we can reduce the size of the population. It's like, it's a friggin' oxymoron. And he just says it and hopes that it goes right over your head. Everybody's just looking at him. Yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. And he believes this stuff. And my question is, who the hell is he to determine who and how people are going to live and die? I want to play something from Tucker Carlson. It's a little bit lengthy, but the beauty of all this video, and I used to say that when Biden was in office and stuff, because he says something and you go back several years and you can see him contradicting himself. And that's the beauty of you know, we all have this video now. It's a different age. You know, when Kennedy was assassinated, it was a lot harder to figure things out from a regular person standpoint. You know, the news told you one thing, you believe the news. Now, I don't believe the news. You see what's going on with Charlie Kirk? They're trying to say they actually have footage now of that kid actually pulling the trigger, and they waited a year before they showing this video. It's like they finally made a good AI video that's kind of believable for some people, but I ain't buying it. It's the most ridiculous. And I see some of these news journalists that are confirming, yeah, I saw the video and he pulled the trigger. And I'm going, they didn't get to you too, did they? Because we all know that's not what happened. Because the videos we saw from day one of the microphone blowing up in the shirt and things going awry, we all know what really happened. And now they're still sticking to their story too. I mean, they'll go down with the ship and stick to that story. Now they created something, and all of a sudden I see some of these people that I've kind of trusted that are going, come on, we just saw the video. And it's like, oh, really? We just saw the new AI video. It's dumb. I was born early in the morning, but it wasn't yesterday morning. So Tucker Carlson's got talking about something that Bill Gates had said in his past. It kind of went away, and then it surfaced again, and it's coming to haunt him. And then they were trying to put out the fire because you can't take back what you said unless you have some reasonable way of explaining it. And nobody so far has any reasonable way. He's still the same piece of crap wanting to eliminate you because you don't matter to him, and he knows what's better for the world. But here, check it out and learn from it, because this is what's going on. I mean, whether you like Tucker Carlson or not, he's not stupid. And sometimes I disagree with him, and a lot of times I do agree with him. But he digs deep and he talks about things and isn't afraid to say things. And I'm here to put it out for you guys too, because it's worthy of. So how do we do this? I don't know, like this. I think we do it like that. Here we go. And 5, 4, 3, and oh, see, can't even do it. Oh, I know. Add to stage.
From 2010 from the Aspen Institute meeting from July 8th. 2010 in Aspen, Colorado. It happens every year. It's a nonprofit organization where the deepest thinkers, or their facsimiles, congregate in Aspen to talk about where we should go next. Lots of chin tugging, lots of pomposity, lots of cliches getting thrown around. But occasionally the truth is told, particularly by the more autistic participants. And there's no one more autistic in the Aspen Institute class, of course, than Bill Gates. And that's not an attack on Bill Gates. In fact, it's said with gratitude, because people like Bill Gates tend to say things out loud that other people wouldn't, because it just emerges. So in 2010, Bill Gates made the case that, hey, we may get to a point where we have to impanel some kind of group of officials to decide, is it really worth the cost of keeping these people alive? And he actually said that. And the reason that we need to reassure you of that and actually play this clip is because over 10 years later, this clip reemerged. And it found its way onto the internet and social media, and all the people in charge basically had a conniption and bent over backwards and forwards and sideways to tell you that this wasn't real, this was misinformation. Over at the Associated Press, the AP, the fabled Newswire, they dispatched their misinformation reporter to bat this down. No, don't believe your eyes. Bill Gates did not say this, and he certainly didn't mean it. And there's nothing sinister about that. And if you think there is, you're the crazy person. And so it kind of died, because when people are told that the thing they just saw isn't real and they're fools for believing it, it does, even in the kind of most rigorously independent mind, sow that seed of doubt that maybe I'm misinterpreting this. But you're not misinterpreting it. You never were misinterpreting it. If you haven't seen this, watch. Here's Bill Gates in 2010.
That's a trade-off society is making because of very, very high medical costs and a lack of willingness to say, is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion.
Oh, you're not supposed to have that discussion. Bill Gates would like to have that discussion. Of course. There's Bill Gates making the math-based argument that, hey, is it really worth it? You've got this old person, no name, but just some old guy who's dying, and all attempts to revive him and keep him alive are fruitless and stupid because he's not a billionaire. He doesn't have adrenochrome. It's not worth keeping that guy alive. I mean, really? Some surf, whatever. But we could take that money. Let's say it costs $1 million, Bill Gates just said. Let's say it takes $1 million to keep this guy alive for a couple extra days when he's going to die anyway. And that's money that could be spent on teachers. Now, by the way, you can tell how antique that clip is, 16 years old, because people were still saying in 2010, we need to do something about education in this country. Nobody thinks that now. There's no effort to reform American education. Who cares? You're sending your kids to a public school, that's your problem. Surf. So all meaningful education reform efforts are basically dead. You go to a cocktail or dinner party with rich people, they're not fretting over the state of public education. They don't care, because that's a completely different class of people, and God knows what they do. We'll pay lip service to caring about them. I love black people so much. But we're not actually going to try to bring them into the rest of society with like a decent education. Like, we've tried that for 6 years. It didn't work. Clearly, they're immune to it. And so we're going to kind of pretend that everything is fine, and we're instead going to talk about what's going on at, Trinity or Spence or Buckley or whatever, our, private schools we send our kids to. But anyway, back in 2010, that was still a kind of resonant debate point. We could use the money for education. It cost $1 million. But what's so interesting, and, that's not probably wrong. It's very expensive at the end of life, and maybe we should reassess our understanding of death itself, and maybe we should have a conversation about what happens after death. And maybe people wouldn't be so desperate to stay alive if there was a promise of living forever, if there was religious faith, there was a belief in something beyond the material. It wasn't just Amazon deliveries, that this life meant something. But we're probably past that at this point. From perspective of official America, the West, the leadership in every Western country, like, this is all there is. And so living forever in this life, in this body, is the goal. Trying, of course, famously to do that. That's what transhumanism is. But we're not having any of those conversations, of course. There's no solace in death. If there's nothing after death, then how can you feel peaceful about it? It's just the end. What did this all mean? Nothing. So people get panicky, and we spend, it's true, Bill Gates is right, an awful lot of money in the final weeks of life. But what's so interesting is we spend an awful lot of money on a lot of things. And no one ever suggests that maybe that money can be spent, on something more fruitful or decent or life-affirming. So, for example, Bill Gates says it cost $1 million, theoretically, to keep the average old serf alive. Probably better just to kill him. He clearly thinks that. But you don't hear Bill Gates say, well, it cost $4 million for a single Patriot missile. It cost over $1 billion for a Patriot missile battery. We seem to be handing those out to Israel and Ukraine every week. We certainly did for many years. Maybe that money could be spent, I don't know, on education or on roads or on nicer airports or on public parks or libraries or anything other than killing people. You never hear that because it doesn't offend them, because it's killing people. And killing people makes them feel powerful. And in general, as you assess this debate over euthanasia, end-of-life care, whatever we're calling it, keep in mind that it's not simply a debate about money and science. It's a theological debate, and there's clearly a theological component to this. The enthusiasm that some bring, not all, but some bring to this debate, the enthusiasm with which they call for the deaths of other people, whether it's in Ukraine, whether it's in Iran, whether it's in your local hospice, is unusual. It's not rational, actually. It's almost as if there are certain people who feel they derive power from controlling the deaths of others, even from causing the deaths of others. Actually, that's understating it. It's not that there are some people who seem as if. The truth is there are a number of people who definitely do derive power from that. And it's not just Lindsey Graham, it's many. And there is a almost one-to-one connection between the people who are enthusiastic about sending complex missile systems to various parts of the world so other populations can kill each other, and the people who are enthusiastic about, I don't know, abortion on demand for its own sake. Abortion, just a good thing. Just a good thing. Ending life, a good thing. Because it's freedom. And euthanasia. All kind of connected. And there was a time when people studied things seriously, or the American version of seriously, slightly more seriously than, say, a Wikipedia entry, when it was widely understood that there was a connection between the Nazi euthanasia program, the Nazi murder of the Jews and Gypsies and Poles, the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union, Operation Barbarossa, that these were all kind of connected. That people, like animals, once they taste blood, tend to be incited to draw more blood. It's a pretty recognizable principle. You see it all around you, but for some reason, since the Second World War has been reduced to a single story and codified in museums, there's really nothing else to learn other than the Germans are bad. Very few universal principles are drawn from the horrifying experiences of the Second World War and the horrifying behavior of the Nazis. And of others, by the way. It wasn't just the Nazis who behaved like animals. It was a lot of people, because war brings out the worst, always. But those lessons are no longer taught. No universal lesson about anything is taught. It's always specific to a time and place and to people. And lost is the deepest of all truths, the most recognizable of all truths, which is the capacity for that kind of behavior resides in every human heart and in every soul. People are the problem. Not one specific group of people, but all people. They can do this. And the willingness under certain circumstances to do this never goes away. It's inherent to people. And that's why, once again, more Europeans have been killed by the state in euthanasia programs since Hitler killed himself in April of 1945 than during the Nazi regime.
I think you get the point. All they figure out and want to figure out is how to get rid of the population. It's that simple. It's very strange, and I really don't understand it, but that's the way it is. I got one more video of just the Bill Gates and his depopulation plans. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the WEF, because they're the ones who just support the whole thing, and that's part of the whole program. And it just makes me nuts thinking about it, but because I just don't like these people. I just don't. And that's just the way I feel about the whole deal. But here, check this out, and then we'll talk about this real quick, all right? There you go.
So in the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, we'll solve all those problems.
You say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when. You know, the risk per year, 2%, 3%.
The next pandemic, and there will be one. There will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic.
We definitively will have to face other surprises, black swans, as they are called, maybe different kinds of viruses.
But also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Most of the work we're going to do to be ready for pandemic 2, I call this pandemic 1.
There will be certainly what we call the black swans, the unpleasant surprises which will come in our way.
That's all they think about. It's all they think about is is how to get rid of people. And they talk about wars. Wars is one good one. I mean, they're eliminating tons of Russians and Ukrainians. I mean, millions, but it's still not enough. It's not enough because it's kind of a localized thing. But if you have a worldwide pandemic, hence what we just went through, God knows they wiped out so many people. They wiped out so many people, and it's just shameful. It's like, we should be able to deal with it whatever way it comes, and not because they decided, this is how we're going to do it. What we got going on here? Jamie's, yeah, I know. Makes me sick too. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And again, we can fix this. People go, well, how? You do it. How? We stay vocal. You stay aware. You stay up on top of things, because they don't like when the natives get restless. When we start getting loud, how many countless times have I said this? But I'll say it for all the newbies who are coming in. And not everybody catches this specific part of the show or whatever. But if we stay loud and say, hey, we know what you're doing and we don't like it. And the key word here is we the people. Stay loud. Then they go, there's only a few thousand of them. There's like 4,000 or 5,000 of these assholes that belong to the WEF and all that. That's all there is, that are deciding our fate. And actually, when you really narrow it down, it's it's even smaller than that. The main Hefes, who the knowers of all, the holier than thou. Those are the ones. But I'm going to play. I got a couple of WEF clips of these are the main arteries of evil that are making these decisions, that are controlling. They're trying to control. We've fought them off, and they almost. I'm telling you, I don't care what you say. If you hate the Orange Man or not, whatever. If he didn't get in place here, we would. I don't even know what would be going on with us right now. We'd be conformed to digital ID, and we would have been on the fast track to just total annihilation. They would have had full control of us within years, for their 2030 agenda. And so the Orange Man, I don't care, love him or hate him, he's sticking a wrench in their fan, a big one. He's not completely on board with what they're trying to do, and yet he stays talking to them, and but he says, I can't do that. I can't let this happen. It doesn't make sense. It's not right. And he's right. So I don't care. People want to get on to me about that. It's like, I can't even imagine what the world would have been had we had that cackling hen as a president, because they would have put her there and just, she would have been a puppet, just like several others were. But anyway, here's a little something from the WF. This dude is one of the creepiest little dudes. I've just recently started seeing him, and what's his name? Where the hell are we? WEF. I thought I wrote his name down, but I didn't, did I? Hang on, because I want you to know. Oh, Yuval Harari. This guy had it on micro notes. Yuval Harari. This guy just seems so friggin' creepy, dweebish, but he's filthy rich. I don't know how, and he's part of this whole thing, and it's just weird. It just grosses me out. And here, you judge for yourself. What do I know?
What do we need humans for, or at least what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games. The idea of the social credit is to monetize everything, to give value to every single thing you do in life. It has positive potential in some regards. Most people will be willing to give up their privacy in exchange for much better healthcare based on 24 hours monitoring of what's happening inside their bodies. This is the end of human history. Not the end of history, the end of human-dominated history. History will continue with somebody else in control. AI can even write a new Bible. All the other books of the other religions, humans wrote them. But our book, no. It came from some superhuman intelligence. Human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story. Companies like Apple and Google will have tons and tons of data on your body, on your most private affairs and conditions. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. In order to collaborate on a large scale, you need to convince everybody to believe in the same story. The engine of history is stories. And they don't even need to be true.
If that doesn't scare or creep you out, this dude wants to wipe out the history. He wants to just replace it with whatever he feels human life needs to know and just completely wipe out our past and get you to believe what he feels you need to believe. And he says they can make history and it doesn't even have to be true. They just have to make it believable. I mean, getting ready to start using harsh language. Who thinks like this? Who in their right friggin' mind thinks like this? That little piece of shit does. He doesn't. They don't care. They don't care. It's all about them making you feel like they're doing you a favor. And all I can say is screw them. And we all need to say screw them. We the people. Can't say that enough. That's why they make ways to keep us divided, arguing about who likes this and who doesn't like that, and the left and the right. They want that because they're so friggin' scared. If we all join forces, they're cooked. Their goals, we've already, like I said, their goals, they got knocked out of the field decades ago, and it took them 40 years to start getting up to speed again to try to make another attempt to take over everything. And we're at that point now. And we're on this tipping scale. And they're getting close if we let them. But it's still a struggle for them because a lot of people are onto all this crap. And we're going, not happening. But there's a lot of people that are just not saying boo. They're in limbo, don't have a clue about it, don't want to rock the boat. And you need to rock the boat. For your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, for everybody's sake. This is one time and place where we all need to stay together. He's scary. That little dude is like the little evil, scientist. And we're the experiment. It's all an experiment to him. And whether, you win some and lose some, doesn't matter to him. There's plenty more ants on the ant farm. Here's another, again, a few more of these WEF. These are the major culprits right here, and you'll see. Here you go.
In the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations.
You do not even have to have elections anymore because you can already predict, and afterwards you can say, why do we need elections? Because we know what the result will be.
Our primary mission is, in fact, to set a global standard for the world for behavior.
What we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets.
You want the function, you want the service, right? Why do you want to own a cell phone if you can just lease it? And if you lease, why shouldn't you lease your refrigerator or your washing machine or your dishwasher, or why do you want to own it?
I propose putting an end to anonymity on social media.
If 1 billion people stop eating meat, I tell you it has a big impact.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains? And we measure your brain waves,
There's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. People believing that they've been at Disney World with characters who are not Disney characters, taking photographs with those characters.
And substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations.
Again, and all that you think they're going to do it to themselves? Oh, no. But they'll gladly do it to us. Larry Fink, he's the leader of BlackRock. He's again, I see the Orange Man having to deal with him and talk to him. And you go, well, how come he's friends with him? And he's like, keep your enemies, your friends close, your enemies closer is all I can say. But they're, BlackRock, I haven't met anybody who can say anything good about BlackRock. All they do is buy up everything and for themselves, and they're taking away from we the people. And these people right here, it's like, they want to replace everything. They want to replace your memories. They want to vote. Why do we need to have elections when it's already predetermined? In other words, he's like, you don't need to. It's like, we know who we need to put in there to do what we got to do. Don't worry about it. Just go about your business. Stay preoccupied with your video games and your drugs. These people are assholes. They're major assholes. They're so in their own minds. It's like they're these prophets. And we can keep them at bay. But it's not going to be easy. Again, we need to stick together. We need to stick together. I can't say it enough. I mean, this right here, there's the real virus. That's a big portion of the real virus right there. At least there's more. We just saw a couple of, I just showed you that little dude, that Yuval Harari, whatever his name was, and Larry Fink and all that. But these are the main ones. Those are four of the main. There's probably about 8 to 10 of them, maybe a dozen at the most, but this is the heart right here, right there. They all know what's best for you. Do what we say, not as we do, right there. And they suck. They suck really, really bad. So keep that in mind, because I didn't do this show just because I got nothing else to do. This is all things that are important for your well-being. And that's basically it. So what have we learned from all this, kids? Tonight's show, the moral to the story is lab-grown meat sucks. There's no evidence yet of anything of what it'll do to you in the long run. And Bill Gates sucks. The WEF sucks. They all suck. And we need to stay together. We is the key word. United we stand, divided we fall. I didn't write that. I wish I did, though. That's it. I want to remind everybody, next week, Wednesday, July 22nd, I'm going full-on Gulf Coast local here in the Florida Panhandle. Right here, I'm going to have Mr. Glenn Dorsey on the show. He's running for County Commissioner, District 2. And that's important because these are people who do planning for the areas and things like that. And he feels that it's time for some new blood because, as far as he's concerned, there's been a lot of, it's the good old boy thing. I hate to say the South and this and that, but there's a lot of that, and a lot of it's very, very true. Now, they may call the same thing something else in New York or up north or Midwest, but over here we call it the good old boys club. Now, I'm not saying anything because I don't really know the other guy who has been county commissioner, who is still running for re-election. He's more than welcome to come on the show. What the hell is his name? I'll know it by next week. Again, I can care less. I mean, I've heard both good and bad, but all I know is that Glenn Dorsey wants to come on this show Wednesday, July 22nd, because he's running for County Commissioner, District 2, which is the west side of Escambia County. And he wants to tell you why he feels it's time for change and what he plans to do about it. And he's a successful business owner. He doesn't need to be doing this. Same thing. But he wants to because sometimes you just get that need. Like somebody's got to do it. Kind of like this show. Somebody's got to do it. So join me next week, Wednesday, July 22nd, right here when I go Gulf Coast local. So for all you locals, especially who are concerned about this, because there's a lot of stuff going on. They want to build a new Hard Rock down in Pensacola, and now I've heard that they cleared it. And I'm going, 1 minute they're complaining they want a big tax break, and all of a sudden we say no, and now all of a sudden they're willing to pay and not get that tax rebate. Something's fishy. Better read the small print that make sure our local officials didn't rewrite something in different wording to pass it through and just go right over our heads, and then we find out about it 5 years from now when it's too late, because there's a lot of shifty stuff that goes on. There really is, unfortunately, and it's not getting any better. So it's up to we the people. See, we the people. You don't stay proactive, you get what you get. And right now you're getting Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show. I want to thank everybody for watching the show every Wednesday like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Please, please, please share. We are kicking ass in some of these platforms and growing rapidly. Some of them I can't get arrested on, but that doesn't mean we're going to give up on those places because, again, Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't know how it works, but all I know is that things are going well, and and it's all because of you guys by sharing, liking, following the pages, subscribing to the YouTube page. It's all free, but it's all because of you guys. I couldn't have done it without you. I don't need to do this by myself. I know what's going on in my own head. I'm sharing all this information with you, the people. Why? Because, again, we all need to stick together. I do not, even if we don't agree, I'm not going to be mad at you. It doesn't matter. If we're friends or this and that, or even if I don't know you, I'm not going to not like you. I don't know you. But we all can't agree on everything. It's just that simple. Life is full of choices, and that's why we just keep doing this stuff, and whatever happens, happens. But we try to make an educated decision, and I'm here to bring information for you to decide what to do with. All right? I love you guys. I truly do. I want to remind you, please be kind. Life is a bitch. There's a lot going on out there. There's a lot going on, and people have issues and problems. And sometimes you really don't know what's going on in another person's head when they're lashing out. Step back, take a breath, think before you speak. You don't have to be an ass, but you don't have to take a lot of crap from people either. I totally get that. You don't need to be walked all over. I don't care who's going through what. But sometimes you need to just take it and just don't rush to conclusion. Just take it in before you open your mouth and bark. Okay? Life is too damn short. Either way, love is the key. Truly believe that. You don't have enough of it. And they're really trying hard enough for, like I said, make sure that we don't have enough of it. But I beg to differ. I don't care if you're mad at me. I'm still not going to hold anything against you just because you don't agree with what I say, or whatever, some short clip you don't understand or whatever. We'll all get over it, okay? Tomorrow's another day. My name is Peter G. I want to thank everybody for watching Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, right here every week like clockwork. I want to see you guys next week when I told you that I'm going to have Mr. Glenn Dorsey on because he's running for County Commissioner District 2 in the Gulf Coast right here, all right? Life is short. Enjoy. Have a great Blue Angels weekend for all you locals, and everybody else have a great weekend regardless. It's supposed to be pretty hot. Enjoy it because you'll be complaining about the cold here soon enough. I promise you that. And that's it. All right? I'm happy. As long as I wake up, I'm good. I hope you're like that too. I'll see you guys later. Love you guys. Peace out.
Peter G Show. Peter G Show. Divorce dad. Single dad.